I'd like to call upon Dr. Vandana Paul, ma'am, acting as a moderator, Principal, Mount Litera School. Please, ma'am. Ms. Sunita Rai, ma'am, Principal, PDEA on Gyanankur English School. Please come on the dais. Then Mr. Maneesh Antony, Education Secretary, Catholic Diocese of Jagdalpur. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, ma'am, Principal, Somalwar School. Bindu Joseph, Principal, M.K.H. Sancheti Junior College, Nagpur. Vandana ma'am, you are the moderator, and the topic of this panel discussion is a challenging topic, school emerging from COVID-19. So the stage is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Dignitaries, on the days and off the days. We would be deliberating on the topic, schools emerging from COVID-19. It was really much needed. In 2 years, I think we all had forgotten and we really needed this exchange of ideas. So thank you, Time2Grow. And like somebody was appreciating this topic, Time to Grow. I really appreciate that, yes, whatever pandemic has taught us, we should not only go through, we should grow through whatever we face in life. With this, thank you very much. I always believe that whatever comes in life, it teaches us something. And sometimes we require a global pandemic to really appreciate the beauty of our own backyard. Yes, there were many negatives, but the positives were also there. And we as educationists, we should always see the positive side. So we would be deliberating on this topic, schools emerging from COVID-19. I would request all my panel members, after listening to the question, you will introduce yourself and kindly be brief so that we can cover all the questions. My first question is, how would you combat COVID-19 induced disengagements in students, teachers, parents? What strategies would you use to gain the lost interest and faith of stakeholders in school? I request Madam 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 to please answer this question.
Hello. A very warm good afternoon to all the dignitaries on the days of the desk. Greetings to you, sir, from India, Dr. 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲. We are so blessed and we are so fortunate to have you amongst us. As an education minister, you know the needs of education, and I think this need of education is very common in all the countries. The question which ma'am has put to us is, how do we combat this COVID situation, and how do we overcome all these things and we move ahead? Because if you see, this COVID-19 has taught us many things. It was a great learning experience for all of us, and we thank God that we are still alive. That is I think that is the greatest blessings to all of us, because people have lost many lives, they have lost many things, they have lost their dear ones. So we are fortunate as human beings, and then above all, we are all teachers who have always tried to mold our students, because I always say that a teacher affects an eternity. They do not know where their influence will reach and where their influence will be seen. So this has been a tale of learning loss. for the students, for the teachers, for the management, and also for the parents in general. As school authorities or as school teachers have really been on a not receiving end as such, but they really had to work up so much. So much challenges were there for their online classes. There were so many things which they have to learn, new things they have to learn, and they really did. So a big round of applause for all the teachers, I think so. They really need a word of appreciation from all of us. But especially if I speak about the parents and how do we combat, that is, what are the strategies which we use for a trust building relationship with the parents, it will always be that you have to be in contact with them. Earlier what used to happen is, once in a month the parents used to come for a parent-teacher meeting, or sometimes if there were issues, we were writing a note in the homework or in the daily diaries and sending them. But then with this pandemic, there has been a close relationship with the parents, because all the time they were online and they were looking at us, we were also looking at them. So there has been a bonding. Although it may be a virtual bonding, but there has been a bonding, and now the parents are also realizing the importance of school and that nobody can replace a teacher or a school. Next is that now overcoming this COVID-19 and now coming in a new scenario and accepting that this is going to be a new normal, what we do is that we include them in decision making, not on a very large extent, but there are many ways and there are many areas where we can include them in decision making. There can be more parent-teachers workshops with the help of counselors, with the help of other educators, with the help of many motivators. More collaborative approach, from both the ends, from the parent side and from the teachers, from the school side. More parent volunteering. There are many parents who came up कि मैम आप हमें बताइए कि हमें और क्या करना चाहिए, what help you need, because they also realized that all were facing challenges in some way or the other. Then this trust building relationship will take us to the new level, will take us to a little this thing, so that we become more strong ties can be there. Another is to invite the parents as partners, because already they are stakeholders in the school, and then empowering them also. We have seen, especially if you see in every school there are RT students, and those RT students and their parents, they were the worst affected. They were on the receiving end because they did not have the resources, they did not have the technology, they did not have anything. And they were all totally depending on the school. They were coming once in a while to the school on Saturdays and all those things, and teachers helping out these RT students. So empowering them, I think, is more important, because there are many mothers who are housemakers, and then it becomes a little difficult for them to teach. So empowering them is very important, and then providing the necessary information time to time to them, and then sharing a positive vibe. This, I think, can be done. These are small steps and small approaches and small areas where we can develop a more positive, a more collaborative, and a more interrelationship between the parents and the teacher and the school as such. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So to sum up, to break the disengagement in students, one thing is sure, that we will have to keep the children interested. So the classrooms will have to change into happy classroom. The main ingredient, happy classroom. And the trust building between parents and teachers. And regarding teachers, we will have to, they have really worked very hard in these 2 years. It's not that they are disengaged. The chances are they are tired. Chances are monotony has developed. So we will have to have certain team building exercise. They're developing their self esteem, developing that they are very important. Certain workshops and trainings can be taken, and this will definitely help in breaking this disengagement. So my next question is, Madam Sunita Rai, what are the top strategies for addressing learning loss experienced during COVID-19?
Very good afternoon, most honorary Rashid sir, the organizers, Khurana sir, and all the fabulous principals and delegates sitting here. I am Sunita Rai, Principal, Gyanankur School, Pune. To talk about, when I was, to be very frank, I am COVID principal, as I was appointed and promoted from vice principal to the principal. So I think when the people were losing their jobs, I was the one who got the promotion. So I'm just saying all these things to boost up my confidence. Coming to the topic, see, being the principal, what I learned in these 2 COVID years after introspecting, that first of all, I should be able to relearn myself. We all were in a race to achieve or to get to the top places. But within these 2 years, we all came to an halt. And after, sitting back at home and then introspecting and reflecting, then it comes to, I came to a point, or we all came to a point, that running into the race and getting the marks is not going to make us sustain in the coming, life. So one has to work on the sustainable, policies rather than just gaining knowledge. So the first strategy, what I would like to say, that we need to work on our policies, our school policies. As we being the leaders, we need to make policies which are more practical, more experiential learning based, and which are more student centric rather than institutional centric or learning outcome objective based centric. Secondly, as the 2 years loss. So yes, the core way of attaining is bridging of the curriculum, bridging the format. In that particular way we need to work. So the 2 years what we or the children have lost. Okay, so what we can do, we can make a bridging plan, a bridging curriculum, in which the concepts which have been not taken in the last 2 years should be inculcated into the present year curriculum. So we can say it will be a 3 years plan. Okay, so we should be bridging what we can say 75% of 2021, and then some portion of 21-22 and 22-23 little bit. So the next year it will be focused more on than 21-22 and 22-23, and in 3 years all the children of all the levels will be on the same level. So what we can say, the minimum learning levels should be attained, so that after this completing 3 years at least, every child should be on a specific level. Secondly, I would just one more point I would just like to say. One of our speakers talked about 4 C's. That was communication, collaboration, creative thinking, and critical thinking. Okay, so communication with all the stakeholders. We, the school, the principals, all the society, along with the children. We all should be there in a collaborative manner. We all should work together. So there was a time, as one of the speakers said, that parents were used to call once in a month. So why not plan the curriculum, the design, making them sit together, and coming up together? Why not the child, or they should be heard first? They are the right people who are the ones should tell what should be taught, because they are the one who are losing the things, and they are the one who have to fight in the coming future. So bringing them all on the same platform, listening be a good listener, listening, and then inculcating all the points together and designing a curriculum. Yes, definitely it seems to be more fictional, but again, no restaurants, no malls, all these things seems to be fictional. And there was a time when it was believed that we won't be able to survive with all these facilities. Then also we were able to survive into this COVID, and definitely we will also be able to achieve this target in the coming future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Very good points put forth. Bridging of the gap. One thing I want to add on here, that we should really understand the children who are coming here in this session in grade 1. Let us not forget that they are the kids who were in nursery when the COVID broke. Actually, I'll give this anecdote here. One day, I was interacting with one of the children who had come for admission, and the child was not ready to come inside the cabin. The parents were very kind of, Madam, why is he behaving like this? I just smiled and said, let him behave like that. Do you understand what was his last experience of going into a cabin? It was a doctor's cabin when he was in nursery. He is thinking that I'm going to give injection to him. So he is behaving exactly the way he has experienced. The child was having the past experience of visiting a clinic. So when he has come to school to interact with the principal, he is obviously relating it with his past experience. So as an educator, we all need to understand, and we will have to give them this space to time to adjust with their, this loss. Learning loss is there, but more than that, this social loss, social interaction loss, emotionally we will have to understand that. And Madam has given very good points of bridging the course. And we have also started with this kind of activity in our school, which I want to share with you all. Happy Hour concept, where those who have taken admission, we have started calling them 1 hour on Saturdays, so that they get adjusted. Habit formation. So habit formation, and in this pandemic era, they were very, very uncertain seeing things around. So we need to give them time to develop and have faith in routine formation. There are certain things which should be, in a routine, so that they will get adjusted to the new normal. So coming to the next question, may I request Madam Bindu Joseph to take this question. COVID-19 has taken a toll on the mental and emotional well-being of the teachers as well as students. How can school leaders support and help with the mental health of students and staff?
Thank you, Vandana ma'am. Warm good afternoon to the chief guest of today's function, the organizers, the panelists sitting along with me on the dais, and as well as all the delegates. As ma'am asked me to share my views related to the emotional and mental well-being of teachers as well as students. So first thing which I would like to add here is, let's communicate. That is the first thing, the communication, and not communication in the form of technology, communication in real. That is the first thing which is needed now. Because whether it is teachers who have been stressed out during this pandemic period, as well as the students who were caught inside the four walls of the home, all are under stress. One thing we all have to remember is, if we can just be human, instead of trying to become superhumans, everybody will be at mental peace. And as we know, a sound body, a sound mind resides in a sound body. So obviously we have to get involved with the physical activities, whether it is related to teachers or it is related to students. So we have to open our playgrounds for both students as well as teachers also. Let them get involved. Let them have gratitude. Make them to learn the gratitude. If we as elders will seek for gratitude, if we know how to be content with what we have, so obviously we will be able to deliver those values to our students. So we have to be having a sense of gratefulness that is needed, and then if we can go with the physical activities, if our body, we have to relax. Somewhere it is needed instead of getting too much stressed. If our physical body is stressed, so obviously it is going to affect our minds also. So teachers first need to relax, and then being the school leaders, we all have to give them the space. We have to be there to listen to their problems. It's not only related to the problems of academics, we have to be available for them so that they can discuss their problems with us. So if we are available and we are ready to observe and we are ready to listen, I think we all will be able to help our teachers as well as students to cope with this stress situation. So that's all I would like to share, like how we can help our students to combat with the problems related to mental as well as emotional intelligence. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Bindu ma'am. One thing is clear, that Madam Bindu is a compassionate principal. In one word, she has expressed her feeling that the most important thing is communication, and in real sense communication. We can add on certain points, like generally teachers give messages that I want to leave because today I am not well. Maybe she said that BP shot up. So principal can give a call, eye care call. Generally we call only to give tasks, but can't we give this? We can add this also as one of our work or task, that we can give eye care call, or listening to the teacher patiently, giving them space, which madam has pointed out very nicely. I'm very happy that at least after COVID-19 we all have started thinking about mental stress of teachers. They really need it, but I really want this point also to be added, mental stress of the principals. They have also gone through a very bad phase. The teachers are fortunate that at least we are discussing about it, but principals, I think for the next forum this should be the topic. So thank you. Next question, I request Father Maneesh Antony to take up this question. COVID-19 changed and brought the transition in schools from offline to online classes. Will these new ways of working stay in the long term? What is your view on that?
Good afternoon, Mr. Rashid sir, Karana sir, the dignitaries here, my educationists and the panelists here. The pre-COVID time, the students were not allowed to bring the mobiles. We used to ban them not using this, isn't it? And when we started COVID, we compelled them to use it. And now most of them are addicted to this. The question is, can it's a long-term use? I don't think for students it can be go through like this. It's a long-term teaching. But we cannot avoid also. Nowadays we cannot avoid the technology. We cannot avoid online teaching. Nowadays, I would say that most of our students are better equipped than our teachers. They get a lot of materials and teaching aids through internet than what we give in our classrooms, isn't it? That's why the students who are, very brilliant students and well-tutored students, they, take a help of online apps like Baidu apps or other apps than the teachers, and sometimes they are least bothered in attending offline classes also. So the transition from offline to online, it has both positive plus negative effects on our students. Therefore, we need to have a blended way of teaching. That means both online and offline. You need to teach the students first the positive aspects of an online teacher, online way of teaching, and we need to equip them to get the supporting materials from the online classes, collect the good things from, use the mobiles, online supporting system for ourselves. But we cannot avoid the offline classes. Now, these last 2 years, the parents have understood the value of the teachers and the offline classes, because it is so visible in the standard of a student. Because all the teachers have taken a lot of trouble in giving the best online classes. still, how we know that what is the standard of a students coming out after these 2 years of online classes. It's that the first topic is learning loss. The student sitting in our class 5th is almost the standard of our class 3rd student. Our class 5th students are having the standard of class 3, class 4. So online classes, only one way it has helped that we need to keep a touch of education all those 2 years, and we could giving a basic thing knowledge. Therefore, in going ahead, we cannot fully avoid the online classes, but still we need to teach them the importance of offline classes, and we need to conscientize our students to learn from the class. And because education is not only of subject learning, they learn a lot of things from the school, communication, cooperation, and adjusting with other students, a lot of social values, moral values, spiritual values, and most of these things could not be given during the online classes. So I would suggest to mixing of all these online and offline classes, and we need to conscientize how to use the online classes also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So very rightly said, we can continue with blended learning, because I can understand in my school, parent of one of my children, he stays in Bahrain, and one day when I was holding a PTM, he could also attend because it was a virtual PTM. So he was totally connected with his child's performance. So we can do this physical PTM as well as at least once in 6 months virtual PTM. Why not? Understanding everything. If it is in positive interest of the child, we should go on with blended learning. So we will sum up with, yes, one small step in school, a great giant leap for future. Whatever small steps we would be taking in school, it will be definitely going to take care of our children. And let us all be united. And the journey has just begun. Let us hope for the best. You all have been a wonderful audience. Thank you for patiently listening.
Just a minute, ma'am. Dr. Abdullah wants to add something in this.
Sure, sir. It will be up.
Okay, thank you so much. The whole discussion was very constructive. Even I am learning from you all, even in other panels as well. One question is very interesting for me, that is how to recover the learning loss. Cambridge University has came up with a very good framework for the learning loss. So I thought to share it with you all by hoping it will be beneficial. As throughout the world, we all the policy makers, school leaders, teachers have responsibility to recover the learning loss. First of all, learning loss comes in two perspectives. One is loss of the time because of the close down, teachers couldn't get, that is one. The other one, loss came as students stayed at home, proper teaching learning was not taking place. The knowledge and concept students who have already learned has been forgotten. So these two. So the more serious, what students have already forgotten, because all these years they have been learning, 9 years, 10 years learning. As we all know, learning is a chain of things. So if there is a breakdown in between, in the middle, then again it will be difficult to continue the rest. A simple example for accounting. If a student have forgotten the journal entry or profit and loss, then how could a grade 10 teacher or 11 teacher teach the final account? So this concept, then the Cambridge University framework is the first thing to recover the learning loss is diagnose. So step one is diagnose. So this diagnose means to identify where the loss is there, where the loss exists. So even in different concepts, we have to give the different levels of assessment to identify where the loss is there. So the first thing is a very good diagnosis. Second thing is, based on the result of the diagnostic assessment, then plan for the remediation. So that's the second step. Then third one is start implementing the remediation, followed by measuring the progress. And the last and important one is altering the teaching practice, or the right concept is using differentiated instruction. So the differentiated instruction is something very close to my heart. I believe that everywhere we have to use differentiated instruction. If differentiated instruction have been practiced from lower grades to highest grade, then every student will be successful. Now we can see all star hold students and then all U grade hold students. The gap shouldn't be that much, but always in academic gap is there, but all U or failing after 12 years of schooling is unacceptable. This happens, one simple reason is we are not following differentiated instruction. So I conclude with this by hoping that all the schools will follow the Cambridge University framework, especially not only after COVID, always differentiated instruction, because every kid sitting in your school is a different individual. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to request Regina ma'am to come on the stage. She has heads 3 branches of 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗫 Education Private Limited. Ma'am, come on the stage and please present the token of appreciation from Time2Grow Media to all the speakers.
Now I'd like to call upon Sunita Rai ma'am. Now I'd like to call upon Maneesh Antony sir. Ashita Thorat ma'am. Bindu Joseph ma'am. Thank you. Thank you everyone for enlightening us with the discussion.